Walk with me.
Blessed is he that considers the poor. The I Am will deliver him in time of trouble. The I Am will preserve him and keep him alive, and he shall be blessed upon the earth, and will not deliver him unto the will of his enemies. The I Am will strengthen him upon the bed of languishing, and thou wilt make all his bed in his sickness. I said, O Yah, be merciful unto me. Heal my soul, for I have sinned against thee. Excuse me. My enemies speak evil of me. When shall he die, and his name perish? And if he come to see me, he speaketh vanity. His heart gathereth iniquity to itself. When he goeth abroad, he telleth it. All that hate me whisper together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. An evil disease, say they, cleaveth fast unto him, and now that he lieth, he shall rise up no more. Yea, my own familiar friend in whom I trust, which did eat of my bread, have lifted up his heel against me. But thou, O Yah, be merciful unto me, and raise me up that I might requite them. By this I know that thou favorest me, because my enemies doth not triumph over me. And as for me, thou upholdest me in my integrity, and sittest before my face forever. Blessed be the I Am, God of Israel, from everlasting to everlasting. Yes, and yes. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Those of you on this platform and those shared platforms, we thank God for you. Yes, we do. And we also thank God with a hand clap of praise from those of you that have been with us since the beginning, even till today. We thank God for you. And those of you that have come thereafter and here and there's about, we thank God for you also. And also we thank the Most High for those of you that have come, that have just subscribed, and those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, and we thank God for you. Yes, seriously, we do. And chapter 39 of the book of Jasher. We're in Jasher chapter 39. Yes. It's sad when you look at how we, especially people of a darker hue. One thing I have to say, we're not all the same people. We're not all the same people. Some of you are Shem. Some of you are Japheth. Some of you are of Ham. Many of us would like to be identified with those who are of the lineage of Abram, and then from Eber to Jacob. We like to be identified. We can also say that even when Jerusalem had failed under the Roman, the Romans, when God used the Romans to chastise Judah, many ran into the Hamite areas. And from there you start seeing even the law, things about the law that sprung up from different parts, from South Africa all the way to the West Coast and all over the place. I mean, it's just you can see the influence of the children of Jacob in those areas. And then also, not only that, you go over to Spain and Portugal, the influence of the children of Jacob were in those areas also. And things sprang up, and they've taught even those who come out the Caucasus Mountains many things, and things have just gotten really, it's changed for the betterment. Taught culture and things that God would have them to teach. But the fact is, they still cleave to the way of the heathen, their idolatry, compromising. Some of them might have feared being killed, even those that we read about in the Great Inquisition. Some of them became Christians and they began to adopt some of the beliefs of Christianity when they knew those things were not true. And then you have those who come into Africa and adopted a lot of those beliefs and practices and combined them with their own. And eventually, even the slave trade, the same thing has occurred. And that's where you have the mix of people that have came over. Not all were Judah. Not all. They were different peoples. Dark peoples of the land, indigenous of the earth. Yes, they were there. And those indigenous of the earth were on the continent of America, the continent of South America, yes, indigenous of the earth, period. Regardless of how you scream, shout, and say, this ain't that ain't true, or I don't believe that. Who cares about your belief? The proof is in the pudding. But the fact is that, and now you have wars with men and women, and how Satan is dividing, or the Satans are dividing and putting people down, and even it's getting so as one issue that has arisen is you don't even have to commit a crime, but the fact is the court of public opinion can or will think that it's ruining you because the public is a myriad of people of different opinions and different walks and different understandings and trying to make sense of their lives, so they try to judge others' lives. And you're condemned and haven't never committed a crime because of what? Maybe the way you look, or maybe how you have in a relationship with different people of the earth, or how those that love you want to do what you say and do what you ask. The court of public opinion. I mean, Satan don't have to do nothing. All he has to do is just sit back and watch you and laugh. But anyway, I digress. Jasher Chapter 39. And when the sons of Jacob went from the city to Sarton, they had gone about 200 cubits when they met the inhabitants of Tanakh coming toward them. For when they went out to fight with them, because they had smitten the king of Tapnach and all his men. Now the war continues now. Even though they have victory, the war is still there. They had won battles in the previous chapter and the chapter before that, but the war is still going on. See, just because you won a battle, even though the public, in your opinions, you won a battle, but you have not won the war. And as long as you have insurgency, you will never win the war, because you will always have a sway of opinion in different situations. Because they have smitten the king of Tapnach and all his men. So all that remained in the city of Tapnach came out to fight with the sons of Jacob. And they thought to retake them from the booty and the spoil which they had captured from Chazar and Sarton. In other words, all this occurred over the fact that they were used to take vengeance on those who have violated their sister Dinah. This was not a court of public opinion. This was blatantly done. This man raped the woman. It wasn't a suppose or guess or nothing like that. He did what he did. But yet, these nations come out and defend his evil and his sin, because all of them knew the law. They all knew the law, else he wouldn't have asked to marry her. Let us continue. Verse 3. And the rest of the men of Tapnach fought with the sons of Jacob in that place. And the sons of Jacob smote them, and they fled before them, and they pursued them to the city of Arbelan. And they all fell before the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob returned and came to Tapnach to take away the spoil of Tapnach. And when they came to Tapnach, they heard that the people of Arbelan had gone out to meet them. It could be Bukland, what they call Africa, who knows. but out to meet them and to save the spoil of their brethren. And the sons of Jacob left 10 of their men in Tapnach to plunder the city. And they went out toward the people of Arbelan. Now, the sons of Jacob were in a just fight with these Canaanites. They were in their own land, they just didn't know it. This was the land, maybe Abram didn't know it, because Noah had taught them many things. Shem, Ham, Japheth, even Shem even knew the land that were allotted to his children, and also those of Japheth and Ham. But Canaan, who was cursed by his own father because his father saw his nakedness, and his father was ashamed. And in battle, in verse 5, and the men of Arbelan went out with their wives to fight with the sons of Jacob. Now they incorporate the females, for their wives were experienced in battle, and they went out about 400 women, or men and women. And all the sons of Jacob shouted with a loud voice, and they all ran toward the inhabitants of Arbelan with a great and tremendous voice. In other words, the battle shout. And the inhabitants of Arbelan heard the noise of the shouting of the sons of Jacob, and their roaring like the royal noise of lions, like the roaring of the sea and its waves. See, God knows how to, not how, but God can make stuff louder than what it appears. You can tell that in some of the books of the prophets, and they're going into the spirit world, in the book of Noah about the angel whose voice sounded like a trumpet and all these other things. 8, and the fear and terror possessed their hearts on account of the sons of Jacob, and they were terribly afraid of them, and they retreated and fled before them into the city. And the sons of Jacob pursued them to the gate of the city, and they came upon them in the city. And the sons of Jacob fought with them in the city, and all their women were engaged in slinging against the sons of Jacob. And the combat was very severe amongst them the whole of that day. In other words, the women did not fight directly, but they were slinging things at them. Maybe throw a shoe, I don't know. But either way. And the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them. And the sons of Jacob had almost perished in that battle. In other words, they inflicted some wounds on them. And the I am greatly gained strength toward the evening. And the sons of Jacob smote all the inhabitants of Arbelan by the edge of the sword, men, women, and little ones. Oh, God was unjust in doing this. Who am I to judge God? Because they have committed a great sin, and that they have occupied the land that was not allotted to them by the Most High through Noah, or via Noah, however you want to put it. I don't care about your court of public opinion. This is what God saw and what God judged, and the sentence was carried out by the sons of Jacob. And also the remainder of the people who had fled from Sartan, and the sons of Jacob smote them in Arbelan. And the sons of Jacob did unto Arbelan and Tapnach, and they had done to Chazar and Sartan. When the women saw that all the men were dead, they went upon the roofs of the city and smote the sons of Jacob by showering down stones like rain. They got him. Okay, and the sons of Jacob hastened and came into the city and seized all the women. In other words, oh, no, you might have you put a rock and hit my head and all these other things. And with the edge of the sword, the sons of Jacob captured all the spoil and booty and flocks and herds and cattle. In other words, they got them all together. All these black men and all these black women, they were fighting each other. Yes, I don't care what you say, they were black, as you would call them. No, they was very much the, should I say, the law, or should I say the controlling people of that day. And the sons of Jacob did unto Machnema as they had done to Tapnach and to Chazar and to Shiloh, and they returned from there and went away. In other words, another battle won. Yes, but not without any injury, but they won the battle. And on the 5th day, the sons of Jacob heard that the people of Gash had gathered against them to battle, because they had slain their king and their captains. For there had been 14 captains in the city of Gash, and the sons of Jacob had slain them all in the first battle. And the sons of Jacob that day girt on their weapons of war. You have to realize this is a span of time. They had to heal some because of the wounds that were inflicted upon them. Now, they marched to battle against the inhabitants of Gash. And in Gash there was a strong and mighty people of the Amorites. And Gash was the strongest and best fortified city of all the cities of the Amorite, and it had 3 walls. Now you have the sons of Jacob and their servants, those who have joined themselves unto Jacob. There were many, because it was a way of having substance, food, clothing, shelter, animals, wives. They have joined themselves unto Jacob. Many came with their own wives, and they adopted the way of Jacob, even to obeying the laws, commandments, ordinances of the Most High. Yes. Now, this is the way back then. You join yourself to a city, a village, a kingdom, so-called kingdom, and eventually they would take care of you. And that was your protection in the land. Now, and they marched to battle against the inhabitants of Gash. And there was a strong and mighty people of the Amorites. We're going back to 16. And the sons of Jacob came to Gash, and they found the gates of the city locked, and about 500 men standing at the top of the outermost wall, and a people numerous as the sand of the sea, as it will appear to our eyes. Okay? Sure. Were in ambush for the sons of Jacob. For without the city at the rear thereof. In other words, we're going to get them. We're going to get them. We're going to get them. The demons calling and everybody else calling. We're going to get Israel. We're going to take Jacob and we're going to tear him up. And the sons of Jacob reproached to the open gates of the city. And whilst they were drawing nigh, behold, those who were in the ambush at the rear of the city came forth from their places and surrounded the sons of Jacob. And the sons of Jacob were enclosed between the people of Gash, and the battle was both to their front and rear. They were surrounded. And all the men that were upon the wall were casting from the wall upon them arrows and stones. Verse 19. And Judah, seeing that the men of Gash was getting too heavy for them, gave a most piercing and tremendous shriek. I don't know what that piercing and tremendous shriek sound like. Apparently, Judah had to have somewhat of a man voice, but a shriek of a man. Now, God blessed this shriek for some kind of way. And all the men of Gash were terrified at the voice of Judah's cry. In other words, it was not normal. His shriek was not normal, but his brothers understood, and they knew the distinction of that shriek that Judah gave off. And men fell from the wall at his powerful shriek, and all those that were from without and from within the city were greatly afraid of their lives. You can talk about X-Men, all these other things. These things they have found. They've been reading these books, and here you are saying, oh, that's not true. But yet you are entertained by the movies that they show you about different things, about what is going on, from Lord of the Rings to all these movies were read out of these books. Jasher, Enoch. You even have a book that was made that was a comedy, Dante's Inferno. And many take that as doctrine today as far as about hell. Yes, they do. See, you're going to have to get it right, brother, sister. You're going to have to get it right. This thing is about to come to an end and to a close soon. Some of you might be gone. Some of you might be still alive. Depends on how God see fit to allow you to live. But it won't be long. They've been saying this for every year. As far as this, the end has come this year. We don't know when it's coming, but we know that as we see the signs upon the wall and the writings, the handwriting on the wall, that things are getting close. In other words, God's saying, prepare. He ain't saying about no Isis. That's a figmentation of your imagination. In other words, to put a man on earth as God to try to justify his reason of being. How can a man of a different peoples, or men of different peoples, represent those men of a certain people as the authority on the things of the Most High? There's no way it can go like that. I mean, just a big common sense. Do we have common sense? Our court of public opinion overrides those who God have shown the way. Who cares about the public? The public opinion does not match with God. God doesn't depend on your public opinion, your tainted opinion of devils and demons. Righteousness is righteousness. Lawlessness is just what it is against that which is right. Now, and the sons of Jacob still came nigh and to break the doors of the city, when the men of Nosh threw stones and arrows upon them upon the wall, and made them to flee from the gate. 21. And the sons of Jacob returned against the men of Nosh who were with them from without the city, and they smote them terribly, as striking against girds, and they could not stand against the sons of Jacob, for the fright and terror had seized them at the shriek of Judah. And the sons of Jacob slew all those men that were without the city, and the sons of Jacob still drew nigh to effect an entrance into the city and to fight under the city walls, but they could not, for all the inhabitants of Gosh who remained in the city had surrounded the walls of Gosh in the very direction. In other words, they go out, they go back home to heal, take care of their father's flock, and, sell sheep to whoever would come by and sell it, or eat the sheep. Women would make the clothes and all that. And they knew they had, this is a span of time, different segments in time that these battles have occurred. Not all at once, not day by day or day after day. No, there were different times. It could have been a year, could have been years, could have been months, weeks, but they had time to heal and time to serve their God and worship their God, as well as tend to their families and their daily activity. 22. And the sons of Jacob slew all the men who were without the city, and the sons of Jacob still drew nigh to effect an entrance into the city and to fight under the city walls. But they could not, for all the inhabitants of Gosh who remained in the city had surrounded the walls of Gosh in every direction. So the sons of Jacob were unable to approach the city to fight with them. In other words, these men was not giving up. In other words, they knew that they were surrounded by those who hate them. And the same thing with you, Jacob, even today. You're surrounded by the nations all over the world who hate you. They hate those that look like you and mimic you. These are devils. You have those who have their only purpose is to bring God down, just as the Satans want to bring God down in the public opinion of men. They want to bring good down. They want to bring that which is right down in the public opinion of men. Not only in those superpower countries, but also in those of villages and small towns and cities, to bring God down when the majority in their public opinion goes by their different understandings that were initiated by devils and trauma in their life that they may have occurred in the church, or some religious person had just went against them, and now their whole purpose is to bring God down in public opinion, to bring what is right and what is fair down in public opinion. You see how Satan works? You see how the Satan's works in the minds of men? This is why Abraham prayed the prayer, deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. And we read to you from Psalm verse 41. Yet you're going to do what you have to do. You're going to bless the poor, and you're going to do that which God commands you to do because you want to. Verse 23, and the sons of Jacob came near to the corner to fight under the wall. The inhabitants gnashed through arrows and stones upon them like showers of rain, and they fled from under the wall. And the people of Gash who were upon the wall, seeing that the sons of Jacob could not prevail over them from under the wall, reproached the sons of Jacob in these words, saying, "What is the matter with you in the battle?" Now they're saying it in their language, but this is what I'm reading to you is translated into English, okay? That you cannot prevail. Can you then do unto the mighty city of Gash and its inhabitants as you did to the cities of the Amorites that were not so powerful? Surely to those weak ones amongst you did those things and slew them in the entrance of the city, for they had no strength when they were terrified at the sound of your shouting. Now the angel is telling this. And probably the angels that were with, more likely with Jacob, oh yeah, all right. And will you now then be able to fight in this place? Surely here you will all die, and we will avenge the cause of those cities that you have laid waste. And the inhabitants of Gash greatly reproached the sons of Jacob and reviled them with their gods and continued to cast down arrows upon the stone. Now look, with their gods. Look at this. How do those who naysay the things of the Most High attack the children of Jacob and those who believe on the God of Israel? Now, I'm not talking about is not real. I'm talking about Israel. Speaking in English. Yasharal, if you want to put it that way. They come at you in the name of their gods, their Jesus, their other gods, whom they have somehow concocted, either by using scripture and culminating the book we call the New Testament. Although some of it is true, yes, we believe that. Now, but the narrative, the big picture of the book is not true. And some of them have come in other areas to put down, in pagan areas and demonic and, should I say, witchcraft and all kind of magical and idolatry, naming these devils who come against the Most High. You have some whose only thing is to go through the Bible and prove that your God is no good. He's evil, based on what they know that their gods have taught them. Because here you go, Jesus says, turn the other cheek, love your enemies. But God, his Father, God says, hate those that hate you. That's what he says. He says, he tells you to execute those who go against this law, especially in the way of murder, adultery, and people walking out of their gender. Because, to tell you the truth, when we talk about the Bible, we're talking about state. This is state ran. God is the state. God runs these people. And we're going to go with one more, and we're going to say this. And Judah and his brother heard the words of the inhabitants of Gash, and their anger were greatly aroused. And Judah was jealous of his God in his matter, and he called out and said, "Oh, Yah, help. Send help to help us and our brothers." And he ran at a distance with all his might and with drawn sword in his hand and sprang from the earth, and by dint of his strength mounted the wall, and his sword fell from his hand. And with that, we're going to say, until next time, we're going to continue. Peace.
Walk with me.